Great to see all of you familiar faces, some new ones. I'm JoanneShowcaseDec08. I'm an instructional designer in the corporate track program at MAIT. My project involved the commissioned sales associates at a department store, a pretty well-known department store, once famous for elegance and style, that was trying to reposition itself in the upscale market again, and its position had kind of eroded. The performance problem that the client manager observed was that Sharky sales associates were focused on selling and not on service. And in what is a little bit ironic, she felt that going from a selling orientation to a customer orientation, which was the performance gap, would actually increase sales and their income. But the problem was it was more of a cultural shift than a skill shift, because they were successful salespeople. Our top producers were the Sharks. So we had to get them to believe that by being more customer focused, they could in fact increase their sales. One of the things we wanted to bring into the training was some of the philosophy that had revitalized Seattle's Pike Place fish market. Some of you may be familiar with it. It's known as the fish philosophy, and it's known for its customer engagement. 4 simple principles were: choose your attitude, make the customer stay, be there, and make work fun. So we wanted to make the training a little fun too. And we came up with teaching sharks to fish. Now, the challenge there was to make Sharky, or Sandy Shark, a likable character. Anyway, during the literature review, we did confirm that a strong customer orientation is the prevailing paradigm for a successful department store in competing with other channels like QVC and the internet and big box discounters. I found in the research a measurement tool that was developed at Morton in 1982, way back then, which measured sales orientation and customer orientation. And it had been validated by 30 years of research, so I thought, could I do better than that? I might as well use it. It was regarded as one of the influential marketing studies of the 20th century, 10 most. But I couldn't find any research that indicated that this idea that we had of doing this culture shift to customer engagement really had a positive impact on retail sales income. So we kind of had this mediated variable of the culture shift would have had an impact on income long term, a little bit outside the scope of the program. But my advisor, Dr. Ackerman, thought it might be a good idea if I contacted the developer. And I thought she was nuts. All right? But I used a Google search, a little pedestrian, not real scholarly, and found Dr. White's at the University of Florida, where he was very busy. He responded to my email. He confirmed the lack of research, and he agreed to be videotaped in an interview. You can believe that. The training strategy in a corporate environment or in a store environment would obviously be social learning and some behavioral modeling. We developed 3 parts to the training. The first was the introductory video where we introduced Sandy Shark. It's about 3 minutes long. The idea was just to create a character that they could identify with and where we didn't use the shark as a pejorative term, and get them to identify with that. The second piece was we incorporated some of the interview clips from the telecast that we did between Stockton and University of Florida. So we videotaped that, broke it down into bite-sized chunks, and put it into a PowerPoint. And then the last piece was the leader-facilitated portion, which would have been conducted, which all parts would be conducted in the store by the department manager, not by an outside trainer. Right? And that would focus on the fish philosophy and the situations that a sales associate might come up with or might encounter, and how do we engage them and build long-term relationships. So we recorded the telecast. The economic crisis hit. We recorded the telecast on October 22nd. About 2 days later, the store downsized. And there was a whole lot of restructuring, and we had to cancel the training intervention, so I couldn't get the pre and post results using the SACO measurement. So we had to go to a plan B to expand the formative evaluation on all 3 models. What we came up with was We were able to, I used YouTube to load up these large video files and send out a survey monkey to get some feedback on whether Sandy Sharp was likable, and apparently he was pretty good. I got very favorable feedback. People saw him as open to learning, which is what we wanted to identify with our sales associates. We played around with different ways to present the interview. Chopping it into bite-sized pieces seemed to be the best way because it would allow the leader or the facilitator a little more flexibility. Really great quality in the telecast between Stockton and University of Florida. It was a very simple thing to do, leading to the possibility of doing more of that. And this was the most important, I guess the most interesting part of the formative feedback that I got. Although we had looked at a lot of different engaging techniques, did a lot of research on that, plus got feedback from my subject matter expert, the department manager, who's here in the room. What I found was that there were definitely generational differences among some of the engaging strategies that people would expect to use. So what I did was incorporate that into the third module. We're doing all this within a 3-week time frame from when the training got canceled. But I was able to incorporate all of these things that we were able to collect into the modules so that the leader can now, present realistic situational analysis to her sales associates and discuss these various differences. So that was it. Teaching sharks to fish. What we hope to do, because when this economic crisis is over and the economy rebounds a little bit, is strip off the shoe department stuff, which actually was a lot of fun to do. But strip that off and make it a little more general and possibly find a client who would be willing to teach sharks to fish and possibly enhance the overall income of their associates. So, thank you very much.